Okay, so today I'll continue my foray into two of my least favorite colors of all time, where I was making a blue slash white deck, and I was trying to basically just fixate on certain mechanics. The one thing that I actually like about blue, as much as I hate it as a color, is that um, and you'd have to qualify that I hate it as a color in the game if I was talking about white or black, am I right? Because of the times we live in, and how Twitch or OBS won't let you put black as a tag, or no, it'll let you put black but not white for whatever potential reason. But again, we're talking about the game. I'm using a white mage and using white magic in Final Fantasy. Like, come on, dude. But the point is that I'm using those two. Obviously, everyone knows green is my favorite color. Like, what are my top 5 favorite colors? Green number 1, green number 2, green number 3, green number 4, green number 5. But no, then I like black at least a little bit aesthetically, somewhat mechanically, but not. No, I'm not like crazy about it, but that would still be probably second. Red is kind of in the middle where it's okay. There are certain things that I like about it. Aside from the fact that dragons are pretty shit value overall. Like, I know people will point to certain effects, but you might be like, oh, because they're flying. So because they're flying, you get like a 5 mana 3/2 or something with some stupid little effect that you don't even want. Like, there aren't really enough good statted dragons, like how I was trying to do with the Sarkhan deck. But basically, my little fake imaginary Exodia Sarkhan. Basically, we're doing blue and white, which I'd say I probably like white even less than blue, but they're both kind of in there. I don't like the whole healing aspect. I don't like the whole buffing aspect. Obviously, for blue, I don't like playing spells a lot, but I do like mitigating and countering spells, at least to the point of using like hexproof. So that's the one saving grace of blue, is it's concerned with both using spells, but also countering spells. So that part I can definitely get behind. I wonder if there's like some bullet format in Magic, like some super fast time control for it that people play in like real life tournaments, or like, I don't know how that would work with respect to like what are the time limits in a Magic the Gathering tournament? You could just sit there forever. You must have a certain time limit on your turn. Like, there's real life roping, real life hourglassing or whatever. 'Cause it just makes you appreciate, like in chess, how big of a deal that is. What's the best way to try to make a turn-based game exciting? Oh, because it's not exciting enough on its own, let's just turn it into a real-time game and defeat the whole fucking purpose of it. Like, and that's what it sadly comes down to at the highest level. So on one hand, you could say that's just how good the players are, but that's the assumption that obviously in anything, you're going to have the best go against the best. So that shouldn't be a disqualifying factor to say, oh, that's why, slower formats are bad, because anybody with the same deck with the same amount of time is going to make the same decision, assuming they're the best players in the world. So it comes down to either RNG, or it comes down to, well, they're copying Hearthstone in a different way, not just with copying, what was the last one called? Murder at Karlov Manor is like Murder at Castle Nathria from Hearthstone, and the Badlands is like whatever, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, right? The same kind of Wild West vibe. But they're even copying the Thirst Trap Ner'zhul thing that I was complaining about. There's like Ner'zhul's one of my favorite characters ever, but instead of giving the version that everybody wants, like the one where he's frozen in the armor on the frozen throne, they instead give you one like this where he's shirtless. So they're even copying it in this sense, like a shirtless shaman one before he became the true Lich King. The last time we had a pretty disappointing draft performance again, and again, you could say it's partly because I only won like one game and not even one set of games. It's partly maybe because I draft the wrong way, like I'm doing it too much within some sort of limited criteria, like, oh, I only wanted to use blue, or I only wanted to, like fixate on one color or something like that. Working that graveyard shift. Yeehaw, what in Tornado? Oh yeah, I was almost gonna get those because they seem kind of cool. The little voice lines. Oh wait, I didn't see them this time. And I should, yeah, this one. I can't even afford it now. Because these would be pretty unique, right? I don't have too many of those. 3, 2, 1 draw. What in Tarnation? Pondering. If only they actually voice acted them the way that they do with actually some of the Planeswalkers, but yeah, let's save up to 5,000 so we can get those and waste my fucking gold on I've wasted more in what is a free-to-play first playthrough effectively. I've wasted more gold on those things, just cosmetics and whatever card backs and stuff, than actual packs or anything else. Kill 15 creatures, attack with 30 creatures. Okay, those are pretty easy to do at least. So yeah, we'll go in with the blue thing and the way this originally started. But no, before the end of this expansion, I would like to do another one. Right, that draft was at least more interesting than the last expansion. I did one at the beginning of last time, and it wasn't last expansion, and it wasn't really that fun. Like, I didn't find the cards too interesting. Here they were at least a little bit more interesting, and you know, despite my shitty performance. But no, sometimes I just drafted the wrong way, and then once you go in, it's not really, you know, it's kind of like these shitty theme decks that I use overall. Like, once you go in with a shitty deck, it doesn't matter how good you are or how good you play, because you're already doomed yourself to fail. So, but yeah, the way this started with me converting to blue and white and all this stuff is that I did like a little permadeath deck round robin where I went through every single deck I'd used in the history of the game, most of which being green and most of which being very similar. Right, actually I was doing Timeless, and some people were blaming Timeless, like, oh, that's why you're getting destroyed so badly. But Historic, for all intents and purposes, the same thing was happening. But seems like some of my decks are actually missing here. I should have actually deleted them when I lost to them, just to show like, oh, we're kind of putting these out for good because we lose to them. But it's like I would have sort of done this anyway, right? Like I went through, okay, I'll go through every deck in a best of 3 that I played in the history of the game, right? And I'll go until I lose, and then I move on to the next one, and then I won't, when they're done, and then I'm not going to play as them again, either for a super long time or maybe forever. And so the point is that a lot of them were very similar because I like kind of the same mechanics and mid-range and green and big statted dinosaurs and stuff like that, and hexproof and whatever. The point is, though, that even if I had gone on longer win streaks than I did, eventually you were going to lose as them. I guess the only way that it could have been like a win condition was if I got to like Mythic in the course of playing as all of them or something like that, right? Then I could have said, okay, now they survive. But other than that, which was pretty unlikely to happen because, again, they're not very good decks. What is that? Oh, that looks like some sort of graphical bug at the angle. Like, what's that white random thing sticking out? But the point is that, yeah, no matter what good streak you would have gone on, you were going to eventually lose all of them anyway. And so I said, okay, after we're done playing through all those and that permadeath gauntlet is over, now I'll move on to playing actually a different color, sort of as my punishment, even though it's partly not even my fault because, oh yeah, I wanted to change my pet thing to that stupid ass troll rock. What is it? Companion, April Fool's Dwayne the Rock, haha. One of a million crossovers in this game that nobody expected. They keep using the same fucking picture. Like, is this some pro Magic the Gathering player or just some random guy? You know, they've shown this one a million times. They showed one for TikTok. I guess they can't show that anymore because it's banned, or at least I think it's about to be, in certain regions, in the United States at least. Yeah, the only other cosmetic that I really wanted was I want like a dinosaur pet, because we have like a dinosaur card back, we have a dinosaur, obviously, avatar, but we missed out on the opportunity, I guess, to get the... Yeah, if I get something here, it would probably be those stupid-ass voice lines, or not even voice lines, I'm sorry, the text lines. To see if something catches my eye here and waste my gold on. But no, I'd like to do at least one other 10k draft before this expansion is over. And these last couple of expansions, I've been kind of lazy with the mastery tree because there's nothing I really even want from there. That thing looks pretty cool though, but I won't be able to get it. Badlands Bronco, this would make a cool mount in some hypothetical Magic MMO, which we're never gonna get apparently. Wanted, Dead or Alive. These are pretty cool aside from the black outline around them, but they're kind of too understated with their colors. Like, you know, they kind of look bland though. I guess I would get this one if I wanted one, but I don't know. Wait, where do some of these even start? I don't get it. Normally it's like 2 or 3 slots away to get to, I don't fucking know, but none of them really stand out to me. That would be the one sort of thing I was trying to do in some of the previous expansions, is like just do the daily quest every time, and that would give you enough experience to get to rank 35 in the course of in the course of the expansion. But I would often not even do that, right, if there's nothing that really grabs me. So let's actually go in here with this. Let's actually see what's in here first. Or there's like too much white actually in here. What happened? +2 mace. So oh yeah, I was trying to do like a lot of buffs from white and a lot of flying slash either flying or hexproof, or the ultimate, which would be flying and hexproof, just so that you can kind of bypass their ability to remove it and bypass their ability to even block it, right? Which is nothing really too novel of a concept. Yeah, none of this stuff is even really that good. It's just like whatever. But no, that's the one way I can get myself to actually enjoy some of these colors that I otherwise normally wouldn't. But you see how long I've played this and how much I've enjoyed it, even without trying to do anything competitive. And so it's like, you know, people might think of that, oh, it's somehow an excuse, but like, at some point I want to get to Mythic and do that, but I feel like at some point these games sort of feel bloated. Like when you haven't even played them in the first place, right? Why would I want to jump ahead and try to... All of these things are too fucking high cost though. Like there aren't any really good efficient ones. And of course I wasted a Mythic wildcard on this guy. The whatever, this like Mesmer from Subnautica type thing. Which is okay, but it's not really... Like, why did I even get it? Just because it mentions hexproof, even though it's like a temporary hexproof. Only if such and such, you know, condition is met. Like, why? For 5 cost, a 4/5 with hexproof for Mythic wouldn't be that much to ask. Yeah, like a well-statted Mythic dinosaur with... Not even with flying, because I don't like flying as a mechanic either. But a Mythic dinosaur... Not Mythic. A hexproof dinosaur that's well statted would be like my dream come true, right? Like a 5 mana 7/7 with hexproof, and it's a dinosaur, something like that in green, obviously. Or I would say 5 mana 10/10, but that would be like almost too good then, wouldn't it? We're just getting bricked on my hand here. I am a big fan of the best of 3 format, just because it gives you chances to overcome bad starts, like let's say like this, which we have a lot, because again, my decks are not very good, but a lot of the time deliberately so. Like my collection is probably a lot better than what it seems like. I just make whatever. That's my whole philosophy, right? I'll take one mechanic or one thing that I like and hard commit to it. Not like, oh, I have it in there and I have a win condition on top of it. I don't have a win condition. It's just like, for example, here I just want something to stick. I want something to stick, and just like they can't mitigate it, so they just lose to that, right? Like whether it be it would be like you like hexproof, so you put a bunch of hexproof stuff in there, and you put a bunch of buffs, and now try to get that stuff to stick and bypass their defensive, like the Invisible Stalker. I'll make like an Invisible Stalker OTK, where you buff it up enough just to finish them off, and they can't block it, so they're just screwed, and they can't get rid of it unless they have AoE or something else. So that would be the point. Just get something to stick around, which is often what I like in the whole mid-range sort of green dinosaur type stuff too, right? If I just get enough stuff to stick and it's strong enough, they can't deal with it. But all it takes there is a simple removal card. So this is sort of supplanting the better stat values, making them hard to get rid of with just hexproof instead. This is like such a complicated series of effects, but basically the point is you just get to, you know, they don't untap during its controller's next untap step. But does that mean then they'll untap the turn after that? So then it's not even really worth it. Like, you know, why is this a Mythic card? It's okay, but it'd be one thing if it just destroys it. Like these just have Death Touch on them or something. Okay, and of course those things aren't hexproof. And even this guy's not hexproof until whatever. Yeah, really, dude? Fuck. Like, you really think that was going to be that important and impactful of a thing? I guess if you buff these, then it could make it worthwhile because they can block multiple things, but... Well, this is pretty much fine. Whenever this blocks a creature... Or does that mean it won't die? Oh, no, it'll still kill it, though. It would have been good if it actually just does that and you can keep doing it over and over without it actually hitting me. Yeah, now this dude doesn't even have hexproof. But that's like our first time playing that, I'm pretty sure. Our newest Mythic edition, which is garbage. +2, +1. Let's do this. And again, this is like our win condition, because now you won't be able to do anything about it, even though it's not going to be that good anyway. Oh yeah, here we go. The white buff shit that I'm talking about, even though I'm trying to do it myself, but it's a little bit different. Okay. Get rid of at least one of these. Oh, I'm just dead. I didn't even realize how low I was. Well, whatever. I wasn't doing much there anyway. But no, I'll take like one idea and just hard commit to it. Like, oh, I like hexproof, so I'll have every hexproof minion in the game, or I'll have like, you know, only hexproof stuff, and then that's it. So, or like well-statted stuff, and then I'll try to get it to stick and just win with that on the board by force. And if that doesn't work, then that's it. Instead of, oh, I want some convoluted thing where it's like some win condition and it's power creep and it's like, you know, you do this crazy combo and it's like, I'm not saying those things are even bad inherently, but it gets to the point where it's too much, right? There's too much of that and it feels like too contrived and too forced and it's too much like it's just intended by the game. Like this card works this way and everybody's going to use it and everybody's, you know, using it the same way, and it just kind of plays the game for itself by itself, even though arguably my decks are like that too, where like you're just doing the same thing. Hey Stars, how's it going? His first thing is being profanity blocked. I don't even know what he said. Oh, some kind of creative extrapolation. I'm surprised that's even blocked by it. But yeah, it's like, you know, you would commit to one mechanic, one idea, and just go hard with it. Where I sort of play favorites. I do that in maybe every game I play, like how I hate knights and I love bishops, so then I'll try to play more into that. I don't know what happened, if it's just trash or something, or this guy's sideboarding like a tryhard. Does he get a time limit for sideboarding, or you can just do this all day? But creative extrapolation. Extrapolation? What do you mean? Did I say that maybe somewhere? Why is this guy so slow, bro? But no, like the decks sort of play themselves where, you know, oh, you just play on curve and you just play the thing that you can play every turn and that's it. And then if you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. That's very much like how Kaiba plays. Like just play big statted stuff and try to tribute it for even bigger stuff and just try to beat you on the board like he does. Oh, is it extrapolation, not extrapolation. Okay, this is perfect with the Invisible Stalkers, but you're not getting enough land with this. And all this stuff is so poorly statted. Like... like when you extrapolate on something, it's like you're... What do you call it? You're coming up with like a theory or like a... I don't know. To extrapolate is like to... Yeah, basically just you come up with some sort of theory or expanded idea on something. Dude, this guy is so fucking slow. I didn't necessarily have to lose that one there, but I just kind of wasn't even paying attention to my health. Yeah, I actually don't mind this. I just wish there were some that were a little better statted, like... Not 5 mana 2/5 and 5 mana. Wait, this is I'm actually clouding it even more. This one's a 5 mana 2/5, but this is a 5 mana 2/5 with at least some other effects to it. If you would draw a card in the library where it has no cards, skip that draw instead. At least this is like an anti-mill thing, but it becomes a 10/10 with flying and vigilance, so you could try to use that as a finisher, but you know it's not really worth it. Like I'm gonna wait till my deck's actually empty just to use this. It's time for a quick recap on stuff you should know. I'll start with the basics. Where are you from? Australia? Although I forget exactly from where in Australia. If... Yeah, just make this guy quit out, dude. By flagging. I don't know if he said exactly from where in it he is. He's mentioned certain areas in Australia overall. Like Brisbane is how you're supposed to say it. But that doesn't mean that's where he is. Name 5 cities on Australia. Okay, Sydney. Now, does that mean I just win this game or the whole set? Because I'll take that, even though I don't deserve it. And we don't really have much of a permanent gauntlet thing going on, because there is no other deck. Like, this is the one and only deck that I'm using. So clearly that validates how good it is. Yeah, like Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, apparently. What else? What else? I'm sure I know them, but whether I can think of them on the spot, I don't know. There's one with like a weird name that I can't get off the tip of my tongue. And of course, I would have too much integrity to try to Google it. Sydney, Australia, everybody knows. Brisbane, we've talked about. Oh, that's a pretty sick avatar. It's like a different version of one that we've seen before. Or that maybe even one that I have. Okay, this is good. Yeah, this is kind of just like troll stuff that you're trying to get through. Oh, you can't block this because it's flying, and people are going to be as stupid as like me as green, where I just don't have any way to deal with that. No removal, no removal, no flying stuff, no nothing. Just kind of sit there on the board and try to win like that. That's 3. Yeah, I'm having trouble. I'm sure I could come up with them. Hang on. I don't know. I know more than 3, but I just can't think of them. Maybe he hasn't even mentioned more than 3. Like some of these I might just know anyway. There's one that has like some almost Native American sounding name, like a weird thing. I don't know. You told me them all. I doubt you've mentioned every single city in Australia. Okay, this one's good. So again, the whole idea here that I'd like to show with this deck is I can buff it and then it'll be really good and he can't do anything about it. Right, unless you have an AoE or some other way to remove it, which probably isn't that much to ask. You know, people might have that. Like exiling it or something. How could you have mentioned every single one? Like what, there's only a few cities in the whole... In Australia, there must be hundreds of cities. Like small ones or something. Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. And I'm saying them correctly. I really don't know. Okay, we can buff this, but we're taking too much damage in the process of doing this. Now, haha, it'll only take me 5 turns to kill you. At least if I can buff it even more, but I need something actually out there to survive. We're just gonna keep whacking each other with a 3-3. High level bronze play. Yeah, any target except for this target. Okay, I can't complain. I got kind of what I wanted, but why is it that sometimes people play so slow where they'll let me get away with that, and then, you know, oh, they're holding back their removal, and then they realize, oh, it's not gonna work because everything I have is hexproof anyway. You make them feel so powerless. You call them towns, I guess, yeah. Canberra, yeah, he mentioned that. Okay, he didn't mention Adelaide, I'm pretty sure. Hobart, I don't think you mentioned. Yeah, see, these I don't really know, though. Perth, Alice Springs, Darwin, Hobart. I'm pretty sure you didn't mention a lot of those. Canberra, you definitely did. Okay, this is still fine with the Invisible Stalker, but I still need a blue. This is like such a cancer thing for me, though. Like, you're combining the 2 things that I hate the most, blue and white. So I'm kind of reveling in how much I don't like it, but actually the blue I don't mind. Maybe I should look if there's some better standard ones, but I think I already did and there's just not. Do you remember any of the states or territories? I don't think you... No, I genuinely don't think you mentioned Alice Springs or Hobart or Adelaide. Maybe you mentioned Perth. I don't think so. I would have remembered that. Adelaide sounds so weird that I would have remembered it. Like, I remembered Brisbane and the pronunciation, and I remembered the other one. What is it now? I'm gonna forget again. Brisbane and the fucking... What was the other one? Melbourne. Nobody says it like that, though. Adelaide is how you say it. Yeah, see, we never had this conversation before. I would have known. God damn it, I can't even play anything. So the concept of this deck, at least I like a little bit, but I have to at least have something a little more efficient at the beginning. Everything is just too high cost and too poorly statted and just garbage. Because you Americans overpronounce your R's. Canberra, but there's two R's. I'm not overpronouncing, I'm just adequately pronouncing. Like Brisbane, but that has nothing to do with it either. That's an N issue, like Brisbane instead of Brisbane. And then yeah, Melbourne instead of Melbourne. Australian pronunciations 101 here in this exciting episode of Magic the Gathering. I gotta really start playing the other one though. Somebody was telling me Magic the Gathering Online is really kind of what I'm looking for, but you might have to do everything manually, which I'm gonna be too stupid to figure out. At least in the context of... Wait, what happened? Wait, what? Why didn't that work? It doesn't say till end of turn. Whatever. If I can just get something to stick, I might be fine, bro, but I just can't. They keep doing the same thing too. Very single-mindedly summoning the same shit everything. Aw, come on. I forgot you can only do it on one per thing. Like, this is the whole idea, but then I'm getting low enough. I would never block with the Invisible Stalker. That just goes against this whole principle. They haven't shown the capability to remove it, so if I can just survive, I'll be fine. Canberra is the closest I can think of to how to get it. Really? That's a true bruh moment. Yeah, well, what's this thing in... What's an area in the U.S. that people would struggle to pronounce somewhere else, like Tallahassee? But that's not really an American pronunciation. It's just a hard thing to say, or spell, or whatever. Again, it's indestructible till the end of turn. Flying Vigilance. Got to be something that's actually going to survive here, which none of this actually will. So now I'll have to block with the Invisible Stalker, and I'll have to just let it die. Yeah, it's no fun jumping ahead in a game like, oh, you know, play the current meta and this and that. Or even anything. Right, why not just play the original thing? So... And even if you play Magic the Gathering Online, I bet there might be certain formats that restrict you to that, like playing the original classic cards. But even on my end, I don't mind if I play as them. Like, I'll make a deck with the oldest cards in the game, which I guess I could still arguably do here. I just won't know. Like, whatever might be the oldest here. But there, like, I would do it, and I would basically... don't care if I lose, right? Like, even in Yu-Gi-Oh, like, okay, everyone else is using Synchro and all this kind of busted stuff. I'll just go back and use my old stuff, and I don't care if I lose. At least I get to play as what I want. It's not like a two-way thing, so where everybody's forced to use kind of newer stuff. But with that, like, yeah, I'll go back and do like a... what did I call it? Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like a time walk or something. I'll go back and just try some of the oldest decks. You would just hope there's some sort of format that restricts other people, like, oh, they have to use older decks too within that same format, like Classic or whatever, how they did it in Hearthstone. You know, and the kind of twist mode is good in that too, where you can kind of rotate through the old expansions and everything like that. You go from, okay, you can only use the cards from the first expansion, then you can only use the cards from the first two expansions, then the first three, and it could be like this rotating format that maybe eventually catches up and stuff like that. It's also Brisbane. Yeah, that one I think I've got down pretty well. I knew that one actually immediately, right? Even as I was saying it. Why can I not just get anything that I can play, dude? Like, we have enough lands, objectively. There's just something wrong with this. This isn't too bad. 4 mana, 4/4. Like, you become grateful for, you know, just the bare minimum. And all these buffs are not very good either. As much as I complain about white and its over buffing nature, it's like... You know, a lot of it depends on healing. You heal something, and every time you heal, you buff, and every time you buff, you heal, and it creates like this endless loop of clown show. Do you know what happened in Hobart? Not really. A long time ago, was that where the fated emu war happened, where everyone makes fun that Australia lost to emus, or they lost to something, some kind of wingless bird? I thought that was a joke originally, but it's actually true. They lost the war against... know about what? Everybody makes fun of that, at least. There's one for like every country, like NA lost to rice farmers because of whatever, Vietnam or whatever, Korea or something, I don't even remember. Right, NA lost to rice farmers, then EU lost to rats, like the Black Plague. So Australia lost to emus, yeah. Australia lost to wingless birds. Like, what's the worst thing every country has potentially lost to? The EU one is pretty rough, though, because millions of people died, but you lost to rats. America loses to themselves because they're busy. Yeah, well. Not even so much that, just that they are stupid. So, and we're gonna lose to inflation. We lost to paper. We lost to monopoly money. Is what it's gonna become. Follow the Venezuelan path. For fuck's sake, man, I can't even play anything out here. This is such a mana screwed kind of thing. Like, how can there be no lower cost hexproof cards or anything? I must just be missing them. Or, I mean, this I can do. Yeah, something bugged out the last time. Like, when I played that one buff, it just kind of went away the same turn. You guys use paper as money, which is not clever. Well, what do you use? I thought Australia uses paper as well. It's more so that we just print the money, though. Like, we don't use a gold standard or backed standard. The way that Russia and China are both, like, hoarding gold because they understand that that still has more value innately than... What do you use, like, coins? Or, I mean, everybody's going to start using digital money, but that's even worse because that has... But it kind of reveals the farcical nature of paper money, too. Paper money has no value, so neither does digital money, but at least there used to be, like, a gold standard that all money has to be backed by a corresponding amount of gold in a, you know, in a vault somewhere, whatever, Fort Knox or some shit, right? There was at least a pretense of that, but then they just start printing it, so it has no meaning. Coins and plastic sort of notes. Plastic? Well, I mean, I guess that's still the same principle. Like, cannot be blocked, which it can be blocked anyway, but you have $1 US in your hand now. I've never heard of the plastic thing, though. The only thing people say is, oh, paying with plastic means you're paying with, like, a credit card, but... And coins can be a pain, too. Like, oh, you know, pennies. People want to get rid of pennies because it's just round up to the nearest 5 or whatever. 5 cents because they're too lazy to carry around a bunch of fucking pennies. Can't do anything here, but he's not really doing much either. Like, look how much land I actually have now, and I won't get anything high cost when I'm constantly complaining about it. Like, this can be okay if you get to a middle game phase. Yeah, that's really gonna save you, dude. That's why I'm never bothered by losing in these contexts, because it's like, you know, you know what you're using, so it's relative to a means argument. The best player in the world with this deck couldn't do much better, and the worst player in the world, you know, could do well with a better deck. Like, if you use the best deck, even a clown like me could guarantee results. You guys don't round, which is funny. We round to... Oh, you already do that? Yeah, I forget what commands I even have, like maybe watch time and stuff. It's weird that that one's not natively on there though. I had to go out and add it on some other. Oh my god. 7 mana 5/7. Like, do I really care about the Scry 1, or I guess the hexproof element is what really See, this guy didn't do anything crazy or very fast paced. It's just kind of like I let it happen. 1 day, 13 hours, pretty good. And that's just since it started tracking it, I think. So it would be probably even more than that. Or yeah, that one should show like channel points, but I don't think that works. Was created. What, that's like when you made your account? 1 year, 4 months, 15 days, and 3 hours ago. I didn't even know there was such a command. Block the 6/7. See, like, why wouldn't he just attack with everything then? And I probably would have died. Oh yeah, this is really gonna save me here, which almost would have killed him if I could buff it a little better, but or maybe I've missed a couple. No, but he could have always just kept attacking face. Yeah, am I gonna waste 5,000 gold on the stupid ass? Those things are pretty unique though. I don't think I've ever gotten those before. Like whatever, like a voice line, or I keep calling them voice lines because that's almost what I wish they were. None of these avatars have any sense of personality to them. Even that one you have to pay real money for. Just the base one that you start with, the sort of cloaked nameless adventurer, which I kind of like that. A lack of identity. No face cam, by the way. That's literally me when I'm on stream. That's what I'd have to wear if I did a face cam that might show me. I'll wear a robe so you can't see my face, and then wear the gloves like I do when I play chess on the board. I have, like that Ray Enigma has the right idea. The chess speaks for itself. You have 25. Oh, wow. Gloves are stupid. I like how I have driving gloves, I have chest gloves, I have gloves for when I eat. Like, people have all kind of gloves for different purposes. I don't actually, but I just do it on stream so people can't see my hands. People do that. Like, yeah, they wear gloves when they're driving in their car for whatever reason. Or like race car drivers have them. No, I'm just saying. There are people who do that. Or I do like those kind of gloves that women wear sometimes, where it's like dancing gloves, or they wear them to like parties or whatever. Those can be kind of nice. They're like these really white, thin gloves. I think they were dropped as a child. But yeah, that's about as far from face cam as you can possibly do. Where like you're not even showing your face, but you're not even showing yourself. You're just showing what you're doing or whatever. Again, even the gloves and stuff. There is a good sort of philosophy and principle behind it, at least. This one looks pretty nice, actually, right? As much as I hate the blue overall. See, this guy's at least playing at an adequately slow pace to just let me actually do something. This is why these colors suck. Like, it doesn't mean they can't be good, but what am I doing with this? Like, oh, you gotta just wait till your deck runs out of cards and then it'll actually be good. I've seen your forum, so I know where you live. Well, that would be interesting. How would you find out from that? Put your toothbrush in your bathroom. What does that mean? What kind of a random statement is that? Just out of the blue. Out of the blue. Put your toothbrush in your bathroom. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, can we actually buff this guy up? Or, oh shit, I could have played the other thing. Couldn't I? Yeah, how do you know that? You're watching outside my window, or I must have said it. But how would that even come up as a topic of conversation? Like, yeah, why would I even have said that? Like, it's so random. Like, yeah, I keep my toothbrush in my bedroom. Just because, like, my bathroom's kind of dirty, so I don't want it to fall on the... It's just, like, on a table, so why would it matter? Okay, now we got the big guns out here, but can we actually do anything with it? And then clean it? Yeah, but, like, why bother, you know? It'll fall in the toilet or something. I just bring it to the bathroom when I use it, and then I bring it back. Like, how does it matter? Bro, this is gonna be almost as disappointing as my draft performance, where like I don't even get to do anything. But no, the problem is, see, I'd want to make like a run to Mythic once before I should keep doing that. Like, why not? You can't block it anyway, so I would have won some of these games if I just keep doing that. But in the toilet, like it's next to the sink, so if I accidentally drop it, it'll fall in the toilet. You know, I'll move on to Magic the Gathering Online right when I get to Mythic here. But the problem with that is the simple fact that that's actually a pretty good block, though. The simple fact that I won't be able to do that because I don't play enough. Even if I was using the best deck that I could possibly make and winning every single game that I play, right? There's still no guarantee that I would necessarily get there. Why is my toilet in my bathroom?
We are tough.
Isn't that where it normally is? Where else would it be? These weird Australians and their strange traditions. You put your bathroom in your kitchen, or your toilet in your kitchen, separate room. Yeah, we don't do that here usually. I think I've seen that before, maybe some places, but I guess I'm probably just gonna die here. But it's okay. I gotta look for some better status stuff. I can't believe how bad this actually is. I'm not really gonna have the patience to actually do it. Why does it matter though? Like it, well, I guess I just laid out why it could matter. You might drop something in there. I dropped my phone in the toilet once as I was visiting somebody's house, and I dropped my cell phone in their toilet because it was in my pocket, and then I sit down to use it or something. But that's just my own clumsiness. It's not really the fault of having that in the bathroom, because it could be anywhere, and it's like, you need to brush your teeth, but your family needs its shit. What are you meant to do? I mean, obviously you could use the kitchen sink, or just time it better, or just don't have a family who lives with you. That's why I live by myself. How did you explain that to your friend? I mean, it was just my fault, so I just had to get a new phone. Actually, it stopped working. This is a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, if you really had to, you could brush in the kitchen sink. Why do you need a bathroom specially to brush? Sorry, mom, move over. I got it. I mean, that's just more like a family problem overall. Like, what, you have like a closet with a toilet in it in some conveniently located place where you don't have to go through the bathroom to get to the toilet even? Yeah, I wonder how common that is over the world though. Like, how many places actually do it like that? I mean, it kind of makes sense in both cases, but I guess the point is it's kind of all where all the water is. You got the sink, you got the toilet, you got the shower, so all the water is going to one place. I think it's everywhere besides, and I've seen it here sometimes too, where it is like that maybe, but it just depends, I guess. Or that could just mean it's like a really small bathroom where it just has a toilet and a sink. Because right then you would need a sink too, because you can't have a toilet without a sink. Yeah, like in Heavy Rain, I think there's that one. in what's the guy's name? Ethan's original house. he has a bathroom, but he also has a room that has a toilet and only a sink and no bathtub. So like, it's just a design choice, I guess. Didn't you say? Yeah, that's the first thing you think of is heavy rain. Also, didn't you say you streamed at a separate location to your home? Yeah, sometimes I do. Not so much now though. Now I'm actually in bed at my house too while streaming when I'm so tired. Like I'll like be about to go to bed and then I'll just stream and then I'll fall asleep. At least with certain games like this you can do that, because if you're lying down it doesn't really affect your performance because all I'm doing is clicking stuff. That's the real reason why I like playing chess so much, because I can just do it like that, but not really. Yes, of course, the planes in outer space. Don't fall asleep while streaming. Yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but it very easily could. And then I'll get banned for that, even though people literally do that. Like, they'll, you know, stream 24/7, just fucking put a +1/+1 on itself. That's a pretty cool picture. You may discard. I want that kind of as my deck, not even this, but like your deck box portrait where it shows you that on the in-deck construction. Yeah, what's that one chick's name who I always made fun of, who like streams 24/7? Let me actually say, streamer who streams all the time. Full-time streamer, no, like 24/7. This is Twin Galaxies, Salty Bet, Streamer House. I don't know. And then she's making some comment about privacy that I always clown, like, oh, she's worried about her privacy, that's why she won't do such and such. But like, literally you're showing yourself 24/7 all day every day, even when you're sleeping. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, Emily CC. Or yeah, I'll start streaming while I'm driving. Like, I've been recording like certain things on a little fucking recorder while driving. I guess I can say it, like, for my reaction stuff. I'm just worried like I'll get banned for it. Like, you know, you watch a TV show and I'll react to it while driving because I have that, you know, free time to do it. Otherwise I wouldn't have time anywhere else. So I want to play game one we used to play. What, chess? Or that guessing game of some kind? Yeah, this guy has all the cool cosmetics. Even Gollum. Two truths, one lie. Okay. You start. Yeah, I should go in here and actually look through what kind of better status stuff. But then again, I don't have enough wild cards to even make anything. I kind of already did that, so I just kind of have to deal with what I made my deck. Now I have to sleep in it. What would be a good expression for a card game? You made your deck, now you have to I don't know, I can't think of a good expression. Now you have to let fate deal you your cards or something, which you know are gonna be shit. But no, the amount of wild cards that I've wasted in this playthrough have been pretty laughable. Like, I always just trap suboptimal stuff. Okay, dude, we get it. And yeah, this is one of those bad matchmaking moments where he's like an emerald, platinum player or whatever, playing a bronze. Like, why does that even happen? And then I'll end up beating them, but not everybody else who actually is bronze somehow. Because they'll never expect, you know, they'll be perfectly metagame to counter every good deck, but because I'm not using one, they'll be completely caught off guard, and then they'll actually end up losing to it. Want to know even more about Magic? Yeah, just look it up. Just metagame. Give me yours. 2 truths, 1 lie. Why shouldn't it be 2 lies, 1 truth? Oh my god, these people sideboard like clowns. That is at least one mechanic. Like, there's a lot of formats to this series that you wouldn't even think of. Like, oh, you know, it's a first playthrough, free to play, no sideboarding, no, you know, no metagaming, no looking stuff up, no advice kind of run. A lot of that just because that's just how I like to do it. Not even like prove anything, but. And like, yeah, no disenchanting run. Oh wait, you can't even do that anyway because this game is stupid. This doesn't let you actually disenchant cards that you don't want to use, by which I mean every single white and blue card in the game, even though I do end up using them here anyway. Lane cycling. I mean, that's a good amount of land that I have there, but we need at least a couple low cost things. This guy's style of play was at least slow, so we might be able to get something from that. Is this a Legend of Zelda crossover? Epona? I can't tell what it's supposed to be. It's just a random horse. Yeah, what the hell would that expression be? This is like one of my gimmick titles that I would come up with. Like how I make all these analogies in my chess titles and stuff. Like, you made your deck, now... What? Like, you made your bed, now sleep in it, or you made your bed, now shit in it, is some extrapolation on the tendency. That's a really tough one. Now draw from it. I guess it's not really very catchy though. You still play War Thunder 2? Oh, I was reading it like War Thunder 2, the sequel. Okay, this is a good start. Now if I can just buff that, that was the whole original intent of this, kind of. Like, let me make something they can't possibly prevent me from doing, which is Invisible Stalker OTK. Because if the game just drags out long enough, you could do that, but that's the one way you can do it, with either an AoE or an Exile or some other effect. I've never played Helldivers. Well, you've already said you played Helldivers. I've played Avatar, so probably the lie must be 2 because you've said you played Helldivers. And yeah, he just said he played Avatar, and he probably still plays War Thunder because, you know, to his lie, yeah, that was kind of easy. The hardest part is actually coming up with them because I'm not very good at this. 2 truths, 1 lie. Like, I don't know. It's like I need a specific subject. Like something to do with games or movies or... Okay, I'll do it like this way. What TV show... You probably wouldn't even know what some of these are, though, maybe. American television. What TV show have I watched all the way through? Seinfeld... How I Met Your Mother, or The Mentalist. Isn't Simon Baker Australian though? That would be a good reason for somebody to watch it, actually. I think he's actually Australian. Wait, what did I say? 1. Wait, I forgot what my question even was. Which show have I watched all the way through? Yeah, so what was number 1? Yeah, I probably said that before too. That's more like 2 lies, 1 truth. How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, I saw almost all of it, but I stopped kind of right around the end. And some other thing. Oh, The Mentalist. Yeah, as a true Australian, you should have seen that because it's starring an Australian actor who hasn't really done much of anything else. If you're watching it now, what? Simon Baker. Yeah, let's actually see. Yeah, he's an Australian actor and director. You should always know who he is. Even though what these actors do is they disguise their accent. Like, you can't tell he's Australian. He talks like he's English or British almost more in the show. Or like, oh, How I Met Your Mother. It's pretty good. Everybody just hates the ending. Like, Christian Bale is playing American Psycho. How ironic. Because he's actually British and he has a British accent, but he has to cover it up. Please don't spoil. Well, I'm not gonna spoil, I'm just saying whether people like it or not, that doesn't mean anything. Okay, these decks are, let me try one more and then maybe I'll look through and see if there's something I want to make. Boy, you really never heard of that guy, Simon Baker? That's surprising. Next, he's gonna say he's never heard of Mel Gibson. I guess he hasn't really done too many other things besides that, though. The Sterling Company believes money and political hierarchy is the best way to bring order to the chaos with Thunder Junction. Anyone who doesn't conform to their belief is met with banishment. Oh, you have heard of it? Yeah, that's one of the major skills, like Margot Robbie too. Like all these actors and actresses from certain places that end up playing characters that don't have their accent. So part of their skill, they have to learn how to disguise their accent. Like that's actually, why not just choose somebody who doesn't have that in the first place? Like, you know, in certain contexts, people get all offended if you do that. Like, why would you get this guy who's not even this race to play this character who's supposed to be of this race? Like, it doesn't matter in the end, but people get so touchy about it. Okay, can we get this Invisible Stalker OTK shit to go, or just have somebody who has no answer for it? Okay, see you later. We both won our little challenge in the 2 truths 1 lie thing. Or I guess mine was 2 lies 1 truth though. We both got right. We both got it right in 1 shot. Yeah, thanks. This was actually a pretty early stream for me. Make my own dinner. Yeah, in the microwave. Oh, look at this. We're actually dominating the board. Imagine that. I don't even know how to cook, so I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I've never really cooked anything ever, aside from in the microwave or in the oven, I guess kind of counts. Yeah, does the oven count? Because that doesn't take much skill. You just put it in the oven and then you just take it out. Like, what the fuck? What do you have to do? Make it on the stove? It says how to cook it on the box. But everything probably does, like... Oven stove counts. Okay, so I've made a pizza in the oven. Just put it in a frozen pizza and just let it cook. Why the fuck didn't this work before, actually? Now it should be that forever. It doesn't say till the end of turn. Or he must have destroyed it somehow. No, it actually is working. Ready to eat meals do not count.
Flows through you.
Damn, we're so close to actually being able to do this, but it's the lifelink that really screws me over. Any sort of healing would just ruin this because I'm going to be doing a small amount anyway. Every turn, you know, just kind of chip away. So they have to play really slowly and not have any heals and not put any pressure and basically just not do anything at all. But I'll never outdo his healing here. Frozen pizza doesn't count. Okay, dude. I gotta go and get like a loaf of meat or something. A loaf of meat. And I should just cook it from scratch, raw meat. Perfect lethal, honorable kill. You told you what you could do. Yeah, I probably forgot. And I'm probably never gonna do it anyway. I'll do a blind cooking stream. Learn how to cook. Please do it once. But that's what relationships are for, am I right? I'll just have my partner do it for me. Fuck. Actually, the one who I was with for the longest time didn't actually know how to cook either. She was kind of, maybe that's like us encouraging our bad habits. Or not so much she wouldn't even know, but she wouldn't even want to do it. Like, you know, we would both get kind of takeout and just not even care. Learn how to cook with stars. That's not right, what? The fact that she didn't know how to cook, or the fact that I would expect the other person to cook? As some sort of cultural stereotype. Expect the other to cook. Yeah, especially when they're making more money than I am, and when they're actually, you know, working their butt off. It's one thing if they stay at home or something, but okay, see you later. Yeah, I love all these sort of stereotypes that people have. Like, you see these stupid little podcast clips that trigger me. Like, oh, you know, you can't do OnlyFans even though they're making more from OnlyFans than you do from your job. It's like, who are you to say that? They can do whatever the fuck they want. Now, my real position would be if everybody was like me, nobody would actually use that. Right, nobody would use it, therefore you wouldn't make any money from it. Look how his hand's just fucking empty, but he's still gonna clown me. Like, how did he even get to this point where he just has nothing going on? Fuck. You know, just wait there patiently for 6 turns and let me just beat you with this invisible stalker. Americans love guns. I mean, there's nothing... That is a bit of a fallacy that people say. Why you just have to end off by saying that? Just because America has more freedoms and possession of guns than most places in the world, right, is not necessarily a bad thing, or it's not even a preference. It's like that'd be like other countries hate guns, right? They hate the freedom associated with being able to have a gun. Like, what's wrong with that? Simply having it. Now, if people misuse it, that's their fault on an individual level, but I mean, many places in the world do not have freedoms when it comes to guns. So if that's one of the side effects of having it, but that's what it is. Why do other places in the world not have as many guns? Because they typically have laws. It's not a personal thing. I don't have any guns on a personal level. I don't like guns, but stop the shootings, but I mean, look, dude, so somebody gets a gun illegally and then they do it, like, it's just a bad premise. Like, individuals will do things like that, so, you know, if you outlaw the guns, they'll just get them illegally. So the real point is, fuck, I'm screwed, is the desire to do it in the first place. Like, I'm never going to be afraid of the gun itself. That's why you ban them. Yeah, so what, so when somebody goes out there and gets a gun illegally, then what do you say then if they do it? That still happens, yet it's not on a large scale where we watch our school kids how to deal with that. Yeah, and that's partly fault of the media too, how much they blow these things up, that they kind of make copycat wannabe people. But no, I'm always somebody who just says it's the intent that I would be bothered by, not the means. Anybody can have a gun. That doesn't mean they're going to do anything with it. I just disagree with the premise. I'm not going to blame the gun. I'm going to blame the person. So you can still have better security measures and stuff around that. You know? Or like I had that expression, like, anything of value is guarded by people with guns, like a president, like a political leader, or like a bank, a vault, a safe, money. So why shouldn't kids be guarded the same way, right? If you have a bank vault, you'll have people with guns guarding it, so why not guard your kids the same way? Have a guard at a school, at least in theory. I'm not saying they all have to do it, but what is this? I don't think we'll ever agree. I mean, it's just like a scapegoat kind of thing. There's nothing inherently wrong with simply having them be available for people to potentially have, right? That's not the issue. You know, so somebody will hit somebody with a car, so now we should get rid of cars. Like, it's the intent. Darrell Brooks, right? The Darrell Brooks. He drives a car through a parade of people. It's like, okay, now we should ban cars, or like how can you blame that? Oh god, this mana screwing is way too much. He mills 2 cards, which hardly even matters here. I've become the very thing I swore to destroy. I'm using a degenerate mill deck. If I could just get something else out there, I'd have a chance here, but I actually don't even mind this deck too much. I just don't get to do anything with it. I need like a lot of lower cost stuff in here.
It's but a taste of my power.
Gun, cards, and maps.
If you threaten Innistrad,
Okay, I will. Afterwards.
I bestow a mighty curse.
Oh, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. 4/4. You'd have to do this for 4 more turns, but then I'm not going to survive that long is the problem. But you see how annoying this invisible stalker can be if... But again, the source of the problem, that's sort of false framing. It doesn't mean there couldn't be a problem, but the problem is, again, is the problem the possession of something, or the fact that, oh, you can keep doing that, though. That's actually pretty cool. The problem could be the individual, right? You're blaming the wrong thing still. This is like an easy scapegoat and say, well, if we just ban something, people are going to stop doing it, but that's not how it works. Right, like ban drugs, but people still get them illegally and still use them. So it's the intent, the desire to do it in the first place, the sort of desire for attention that people get, that the media keeps giving them, where it's like on non-stop, and you know, they try to not show the person who does it, but that's still a big fallacy that they place too much emphasis on that. So yeah, I don't have enough low cost cards in this. Let me see if there aren't any in my collection, maybe. Yeah, it's amazing how that's such a propagandized element. You'll come to find out it's China who's actually pushing this, but you know, some big conspiracy media influence that they have all around the world. Like, why would somebody in Australia or like somebody anywhere else in the world be so ingrained to this propagandized talking point that you hear, for example, here, right? Why would they care even about that? Or why would they know it so well? Like, there's something disturbing about that, again, from the media standpoint, that this is being pushed so hard that, like, you know, everybody else can have their own gun laws. Nobody's saying they don't have to, but it's interesting how widespread that is. So let me look for hexproof. You would think there would be some in black that should have it too, but I don't know. There's just no good low cost ones. You just jump right up to 4 and 5 cost. Okay, let me actually look at this, or can I actually even gun violence archive.org charts and maps. Okay, here we go. Just randomly, I may as well turn this into a debate format thing. Charts and maps. But no, even on a basic level, you could say unintentional defensive use, but this is only showing the US. What the fuck? Like, how does that mean anything? Or yeah, Chicago had one of the highest. There's a lot in Syracuse. Yeah, that is true. Like Chicago, for example, is a good micro sense. Chicago banned guns, right? And then they still had the highest gun violence. So like, how does that make sense? It's almost like, then they'll blame other areas. Well, they're getting them from somewhere else illegally. Like, the issue is the people doing it, not the actual instrument itself. So let me look here for a second. Okay, so what you got is unintentional shootings is going to be, man, there's really not that many. But see, like, yeah, like the West, the Midwest. Okay, like Texas has so many guns, but you're not seeing Texas have the most shootings necessarily, right? You would think if that's the reason, Texas should be number one. Like, why are there so many dots here when these states are often more gun controlled and then Texas is not? Texas looks actually pretty empty for a large part of it. Only certain parts are showing up. So it's not always a direct correlation. But like Chicago is a perfect example. Chicago is like Chicago ban guns, right? Banned. Monday was the deadline for Illinois owners of assault weapons, right? So the point being that Illinois has some of the strongest gun safety laws in the country, yet experiences a high rate of gun violence. Like that, there it is. Thank you for making the point. There it is. Case closed. Like, it's not as simple as that. So how would somebody explain that? Press home and go into the map. You can move around. Yeah, which one would be the most relevant one to look at? Like, unintentional defensive use is actually a good thing. Like, you know, you're using it to protect yourself. Home invasions, I don't know if that means, I mean, I guess that would be people actually invading homes. Teens injure, I mean, this is the hot topic one obviously here that everybody talks about, but again, it has less to do with anything else. Like for example, it's happening everywhere and these states all have different ones, so I wouldn't blame that necessarily. 10-year review, 2014 to 2023. Willful, malicious, accidental. Well, wouldn't it be important to separate those? Like, those are very different things. 272, 332, 414, 610, mass, children. Okay, we don't want to look at children, dude. Defensive gun stuff, okay. Unintentional. But it's not showing other parts of the world. So this, I don't see what this even proves. It's just showing different parts of the same country. Explore. 10 years, 370,000. Yeah, but you would think that Texas would be much higher on this. Like, you know, some of these states are more. Yeah, look how empty a lot of these areas are. But just because some of them are sparsely populated, yeah, California. California is a, you know, Democrat blue-run state that would be more against. I don't know how strict their laws actually are. But yeah, Illinois and Chicago, you would think would be less of an issue, but it's not. Gun laws in Illinois regulate the sales, possession, ammunition. At least that doesn't even help. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see one that shows like more so the whole world than anything else. Last 72 hours. Why would a bot want to be using the site anyway? Verifying if you're humans. Number of injuries 2024. 2024. You don't have a problem. I mean, you can have a problem, but the solution is maybe not what you're thinking it is. Go onto the map. You can move around. There are now too many. It's gone too far. So just blame blame something else in your panic. Top left to change parameters. But the point is, the issue is still the individual level. I'm not going to blame that. You can make it a little harder to get, but like just saying that you should blanket ban them is a nonsense thing. Like that, nobody's going to really say that that makes sense or even solves the problem. There's a legal worldwide. Yeah, let me just see one of these, I guess. District of Columbia. Really? So El Salvador, country with the most violent deaths involving a firearm, 100 population, 2016. So yeah, see, this even makes the U.S. look, you know, because based on the population. So there's more in all these other places, which I don't know what their laws actually are, but childhood. But that doesn't even say what that's from, just in general. District. Wait, why is District of Columbia here and then U.S. is here? What sense does that make? Like, oh, I guess just the country overall versus the population basis. Okay, see you tomorrow.